welcome to another lap guide video. My name is Bart, and today I'll be taking you for a ride in the FIA 4 car and iRacing around the Oschersleben circuit. Here's my hot lap. Okay, so heading down straight now into the first corner at Oschersleben. Track I've thankfully had the chance to drive in real life, and the iRacing model, to be honest, is very good. Maybe some curves and things are slightly different, but for the most part, it's a very, very accurate model. So should be able to impart some of my wisdom as well from real life. So into the first corner now, very tricky section. We're going to start getting into what kind of stands out for me. I think most people at Oschersleben is just these horrendously long corners, which is turn 2, which we'll get to in a second. But with turn 1, which feeds straight into the second corner here as well. Not the old 90-degree, really tight, horrible corner that used to be, now a really quick kind of S section here. So it's important to keep in mind, okay, yeah, we want to carry a lot of speed through this corner. But it's more important to get in a good position for the second corner. But to be honest, the most time you're going to find here is on the brake by braking late in kind of the second part, which we'll get to in a second. But for now, at the moment, we just want to try and get the car kind of over here to the left-hand side to open up the second corner as much as possible, right? So trying to come around the back of this, not trying to meet it too early. Brake down to 5th gear, very soft brake, you see there, not much pressure at all. Feed into the corner, just focus on carrying speed. Don't want to hit these sausage curbs. The car can kind of take them, so I can just clip it there. Kind of just the edge is okay. But you don't really want to hit them because they can kind of bounce the car off a little bit. You shouldn't crash from it, but it's not ideal. Just try and get as close to those as possible. And this is the positioning we want here. So see at the end of the sausage curbs on the left, I've got my car all the way over on the red and white curb to try and open up the second corner as much as possible, which is the key here. Do this while carrying as much speed as possible, and you've done a good job the first corner. All right, into the second turn now. See, I'm trying to reposition a little bit. Now I just get the car straight, hit the brake pedal, hit it fairly hard here. Not for very long. You see I'm going to turn. And this is where you gain time with the second corner. The later you can brake into here, the better, because it's such a long corner. Where most people are going to lose out is when they stop the car, sitting in the middle of this long right-hander, and they're going, oh, I need to go on throttle really slow. And they're going on throttle, but they can't get to full because they've still got to do most of the corner. And if they keep their foot down, they just spin, or they understeer and have to lift. And it's like, oh, I'm getting a bad exit now, and blah, blah, blah. So all of those kind of hassles with, oh my God, I'm picking up throttle too early, which is super easy to do here. I'm getting lost around this super long corner. Best way to fix that is position well and brake late. So you're forcing yourself deeper into the corner, yeah? And we spend less time mucking around with part throttle, part brake, blah, blah, blah. You're just wasting time, right? You're just wasting time. We're here to stop and go. And so if we can, the later we can move our braking here, the better. All right. So down to 3rd gear, try and use all this curb. This curb will really help hook you around as well as shorten the distance. Super important. Please keep this in mind. See the curb usage here. brake all the way into this point. You might think, oh, okay, but you say brake very late. Why don't you just brake into here? Doesn't really work. There's not much grip, I find, outside. You see the rubber's about here, but about past halfway. There's not much grip out here, and actually you end up getting a lot more distance to give yourself more work to do, so it doesn't quite work. So just try and brake into the point, into mid-track. More important that you use that curb, like we said, and just running further round the corner. It's more important to go round this way, if that makes sense, in terms of going deep, rather than braking out here, still giving yourself a lot of the corner to do. All right. Start to pick up throttle now. Shouldn't be bang. Shouldn't be straight to full. It should be a bit of a feed. You'll see here from me. Just careful. Slowly putting the weight back on the rear axle. Starts to settle the rear down. And just be smooth the steering. Keep it in near the curb as much as you can. To shorten the distance. Also, there's generally the grips in here. Once you get to about full at the end of the curb, you see I get off the steering, let the car out. And if you've got it right, you should be able to go brake as late as we did there, use the curb, stop, start to pick up the throttle, should be able to nicely feed onto full, and you shouldn't have to lift out, and you should just be forced out to the edge of the curb. If you don't reach the edge of the curb, or so you're not forced out to the edge of the curb, then you need to make it so you're getting a little bit earlier. Just all right, you're probably running in with too much speed into the second corner. All right, this is all good for track limits, by the way. Track limits here are very lenient. We can basically use all the runoff areas. There's only 1 or 2 places to get to later in the lap where it's not the case. But yeah, 2 wheels on the red and white. Use all this. It's all good. Okay, get back over to the right-hand side. Please be on the right-hand side with both right tires before that gantry ahead or start of that little entry curb thing on the right, please. All right. Braking. Just off the start there, you see you got the gantry, you got this service road, you got this little curve thing, all great references. You should be able to pick a spot from there if you're not braking the right point. Come on, there's something here, okay? Even there's no braking board. So brake just after the start of that. Not very hard brake. Well, I should say it's fairly hard initially, but not very long, so you can't really stay in the brake, and you're not hitting 100%, it's like 60, 70%. A dab on the brake. And don't turn the car into here. Don't turn in and, I need to make apex now. No, it's a banked. So it's important here to brake in a straight line this way and then to kind of turn off the banking about halfway up and rotate the car, which we'll get to in a second. Very important here, again, like the second corner, braking late in, straight to throttle, no messing around here. As soon as you go over this little crest, you can see brake pretty hard. Now we go into the camber. At this point, the front left tire is going to want to lock. The reason why is because basically it's running on the road, and then suddenly that road just falls away. So it's just spinning in the air. There's no friction. There's nothing for the tire to press against. It's going to start locking up. It's going to start sliding. We don't want to do that, all right? Because then we're going to kind of lose control and upset the car. So hit that pressure, come off as soon as you dip into the banking here. Try and keep the wheels straight as possible in that braking phase, and brake into the corner like this. Trail in, rotate, straight to the throttle. At this point, when you're on throttle, should be hooked into the white line. Don't want to hit the inside curb. Don't want to. It's not cambered the right way. We want to be all the way on the inside of the camber. The lower you can get, the more grip you'll have. Use all that. And again, you can use all the exit curb here. I've tried it a few times. You can use all this runoff. My advice is either use all the runoff or just dip your right tires on the edge of this curb. This curb, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't really upset the car too much, but you will spin a lot. I find it you just lose acceleration on the exit really, really badly, especially as you're turning off here. This is why, this is my best run through this corner, and it was actually just dipping away, kind of just using the edge of the curb. As soon as you get onto the more ripply part of it, or out here, I found I was just wheel spinning. And there's also quite a bit of a bump here when you rejoin off the curb. So just thought I'd keep that in mind. This is the fastest way I went around this corner, to be honest. So you can have a little play for yourself. It's perfectly fine to run out there. Maybe you can carry a bit more speed, get on throttle a little bit earlier. But for me, the exit was best this way. All right. Bit of a bump there. Be aware of that. Move the car over to the right-hand side here. Prepare for this long triple left. Run as close up to these little orange bollards as possible. Turn in flat, okay? Absolutely flat, chat, full throttle. When we turn in here. For me, I aim for this. So we're not aiming for this apex. This apex is kind of fake, okay? We're aiming to be about there, all right? See? And my reference is about a car width off. You've also got the rubber line, kind of the edge of the rubber line. The outside edge of the rubber line is what I'm looking for here. Aiming for there. First corner. Ignore the apex. Completely ignore it. It's not real. Cool. Let the car run out here. Much more important about the width we run out to at this point. You might think, oh, Bart, why are we not running out to here? You can run all the way out to here. You actually can't get the car back in time. It'll just slide. Try to turn in, or you have to stop it so much. You can run out here, and I'll show you why you have to stop it more to actually get it turned. I know it seems a bit bizarre because you used to, use all the track, make the corner less tight, but in this scenario it doesn't really work because, we want to use this curve, which we'll get to in a second, but also just with the extra distance you take, the amount of time it takes to bring it back. So it's not true. You run out to about mid-track here, maybe a half a car wide, and this is also okay, but the main thing with this F4 car, we don't want it sliding too much. All right, so you're lifting, just about clip that inside curb, get into the camber there, get on throttle once you get through there. More important for this first part, okay, so we talked about being flat, as fast as possible while still getting your left tires to this white line. That is the way I'd base it, okay? And the reason why I don't turn as much there is just so I'm not as tight or not turning still when I turn in for this second apex, if that makes sense. Because if you turn in and try and hit this apex here, you'll still have more lock on when you try to turn in. All right, so there you go, a little straight car there. Turn in, lift as much speed as possible. Pick up the throttle, let the car run out. So at this point, we just want to open up again. Once more, running out to here doesn't actually work. There's no grip on this curb, too wide. But you do want to pick up throttle to open this up because you don't want to be in too tight to the curb because we're trying to, again, it's funny with this track. You've got to kind of try and open up the angle this way, which we'll get to in a second, but you can see I'm drawing with the mouse. We're trying to open up the angle this way so we can go down here, open up this long right-hander. If you come in really narrow, where car width to the left of where we are now, we end up too close to this sausage curb. We can't brake in a straight line yet. In this orange bollard, trying to open up the brake as straight as possible there. But again, if you move out to the right too much, you can't bring it back. So that's the balance there. All right, on the throttle, turn in, lifting, just to position the car. Now we get this straight braking that we're talking about, well, as straight as possible, right? Annoyingly, we also have the brake on this curb. So you see, I'll start hitting the pressure now. Left tires on the red and white. Do not hit this curb. Please don't. On the red and white to try and open it up as much as possible. You can see I've just started creeping onto the brake, but I don't actually hit peak pressure until I get off the curb. If you try and hit peak pressure on the curb, you just lock up. Stone tires bouncing like that. More important, left, open it up. Right now, you're going to see I'm going to straighten up the steering, hit pressure. So somehow, for a moment here, I've got a straight braking zone. Not for very long, just for a fraction. Let the car run as straight as possible. Stop the car. Now that we're starting to stop the car a little bit more, down to third. Come off the brake pedal, bleed off, just kiss the inside curb, let the car run in deep. Don't worry about, I've got to hold on, I've got to hold the brake, and I just let it run out a little bit, kind of to the edge of this rubber patch. Again, a lot of people think, and I did the first time I drove here in real life, is, I've got to run the car in deep, point it out. It just doesn't work. These corners are cambered. Even turn 2 is slightly cambered, more than you think, and you actually need to be on the inside here to really make the most of the grip. Also, it shortens. You take so much more distance when you go deep as well. So the rubber, the camber, and the distance, it's better to stay in tighter. So just running out to kind of the edge of the rubber here, turning off. Pick up the throttle now. Again, use the camber. It'll be a slow throttle pickup. Let the car run out. You can actually run onto the grass here and not going off track. I found you can run like 2 wheels off, and it's pretty forgiving. So don't. And it's an exit. I wouldn't worry about running deep on it. Cost you too much time. If you get a bit greedy, okay. So don't worry about running a bit wide here. You certainly use all of this curb. All right. Now into this little chicane. This is a bit weird. So you got a right-left chicane, and then you got to use the exit of that chicane to prep for this quick right onto the back straight. Okay. So basically, this chicane is all about how can I get the car more left and more pointing this way to open up the braking zone for this right. Okay. Because this is the exit that's important, yeah, and getting good rotation, getting good speed off that. So with that in mind, this chicane is flat, by the way, in this car. Quite easily should be flat, but it's important to get the details right. Get the car as close to the right as possible around the end of this sausage curb. So we've got as much space to the left-hand side as we can while still keeping it flat. Then turn in left here. Just kiss this orange bollard. As far as I'm aware, they're not solid on iRacing, but you will get off track, okay? Will get off track, potentially a slowdown penalty if you cut them any more than I've done. So just be aware of that. Just try and run the left tire just to clip the orange one. There's also a big bounce here. Oh, sorry, a big bump that can bounce the cars. Mind. As we go over here, see it dips down and then it goes back up. But what's important at this point is I've got my wheels straight. Yeah, my wheels, I've opened up on the right, I've opened up on the left. Now I've got the wheels straight. I know the track's turning that way. Ignore the track, right? We're just trying to be straight at this point, so we get the car straight for when we hit the brake and we rotate the car into the corner nicely, okay? See, that's the bounce there. So don't brake before that. You don't need to anyway, but it just upsets the car. So as soon as you land over the top of this crest, see it land, now hit the brake. Soft brake, not very much. Turn the car into the corner. Use the curb, hook the car on this inside curb. Pretty much from the start of the sausage curb, it's a very useful marker, to be honest. Pick up throttle before the end of the sausage curb and smooth on the wheel. Really important there to have a nice throttle pickup, but also to carry a lot of speed over that curb, yeah? If you feel like you're pushing too much in the middle of the corner, it's understeering, you probably need to stop the car a little bit more and pick up throttle a bit earlier. If you feel like you pick up throttle and it's a wheel spinning on the inside or it's grabbing the car too much with the inside curb, try and take the steering off and carry a bit more speed. All right, force the car out there, use all the exit curb, run the straight line now up to 5th gear. This interesting chicane coming up, another kind of weird corner. All right, the first part, 4th gear. Biggest thing here, brake as late as possible while making the inside curb. That's kind of the key. Just smash the brake. This is the heaviest braking zone on the track. Smash the crap out of the brake. No real braking references for us because we're going way past that 100 board. You got this bridge and you got the green up ahead. I'm braking kind of, so let's say 70 meters before the corner, before the marshals hut on the right. Brake hard. Not for very long, but very, very hard. Smash the crap out of the brake. Down to 4th gear. I kind of delay the 4th gear change because I like to try and carry as much speed in as possible for this corner. Up to you. You can do it early if you want. It's not a big difference. Try and use this curb. This curb and the next one we're about to go to, they really help rotate the car. Okay, not only for distance are they good to use, but they really help the car grip up and rotate. So please use them as much as possible. All right, 4th gear, fully on this inside curb, around the back of it, and it's similar to some of the other parts of the track we'll talk about early in terms of preparation. We're trying to open up this next left-hander that's coming up combination corner. I've got the car flat now. You can see at this point, if I'm right of the rubber or of this gap in the barriers, I'm doing very well. So at this point, I'm doing really well for preparation. Really important there in that previous corner to really push that entry and brake late, because imagine what happens if you brake early. Okay, you brake a bit early, you brake a bit soft, you carry some speed into the corner, you get on the throttle, or you're going to end up out here somewhere. Or you're going to end up trying to, if you get on throttle earlier between this corner and the next corner, you're just going faster between here and here. It's not that important. It's much important to push the entry into the previous corner and get the exit right out of here, okay? So preparing over to the right. It's not about carrying the speed between the two. Okay, so full throttle now, lift in here. Try and get all these, or use all this curb on the inside with your left tires. Get it hooked up. As soon as you get it onto this inside curb, it should be lift to turn in. If you prepared it right, you shouldn't have to brake. Full throttle. When you're on that curb, it grips up. So I just have a little lift there, a bit worried about running wide. Annoyingly, this track limit is super harsh. In real life, you can just run up to the gravel or whatever. In this, if you run past these left tires, go off the red and white, which it is possible to do and kind of still just be on the green, you will get a track limit. And this red and white curve is not as wide as some of the others. This is the place I kept getting track limit. So please watch. This is the place where you're going to get off track. Like I said, if you find you're getting off tracks a lot here, push the entry to the previous right, prepare the car to the right-hand side for that left. Okay, that's the way to fix that. And use that inside curb. Quickly bring the car to the left-hand side for the second last corner. Just chuck the car in here. There's not much of an exit. It's just about carrying speed in. Carry the speed in. The car's going to understeer a lot. Unfortunately, the front's going to be difficult for you. It's not going to want to turn in. Get the car hooked onto this inside curb. As soon as you go into that inside curb, plant your foot down. Force the car wide. This one's a lot more lenient. Again, as long as your right tires are on the red and white, it should be okay. Right on the edge of an off track here, just like real life, using all the runoff up to the gravel trap pretty much. Now keep the car straight. Don't dive in. Don't dive to try and I've got to get inside the white line. No. This is all fine. It's all legal, just the way you'd run the track in real life. Leave the car on the left, brake in a straight line. Braking reference for me is basically this tarmac change. You see it change from old tarmac to a new tarmac here just before this white line of this safety car line. Braking there, down to third gear. Shouldn't have to turn in until just before the end of that runoff area on the left-hand side. Down to third gear, rotate the car, get on throttle. Before you reach the inside curb, you shouldn't be striking this sausage curb, okay? You shouldn't have to turn out. If you're doing that, then you need to brake later. Very easy to get inside wheel spin and hopping there on that curb. Again, if that's the case, try and come up the steering a little bit just to be smooth. Maybe push the entry a bit more. Let the car out. Use all the exit curb here. Keep the car on the left-hand side if it's the end of qualifying. And that's a lap at Oschersleben. So that brings us towards the end of our lap guide now. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. And you can also find the Discord link for Coach Dave Academy in the YouTube video description. My name is Bart. I really hope you got something out of this lap guide, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.